Thank you for being here. My name is Elissa Hansen, and I'm the Duluth City Council President. Thank you again for taking the time to join us this evening. Will the Honor Guard please post the colors?
Color Guard, present the colors. Right, face. Post color. Ready, pop. One step backwards, punch. Present, arms.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Thank you. Well, it's truly amazing being here tonight in this building, a century-old but revitalized icon. It was such an honor to work on this project and see it come back to life. So welcome again to the State of the City at the NorShor Theater. I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge our dignitaries that are here with us tonight. My fellow city councilors, Noah Hobbs, Zach Filipovich, Barb Russ, Joel Cypress, and M. Westerlin. We also have school board members, county commissioners, County Administrator Kevin Gray, federal delegation staffers, and also a big thank you to all of our state legislators in St. Paul, currently in session working hard on behalf of Duluth. People ask all the time, why run for city council? And the answer isn't just one reason or idea, it's many. We all run for different reasons, and we are all asked to run for different reasons. And I feel at our core, it's because we want to see everyone have the opportunity to learn and live and grow in our community. We want businesses and organizations to see a path forward with the ability to give back to their community. And we want to connect people and lift them up to their greatest ability. As we grow strength in our neighbors, we go strengthen our community. This year, we've been engaged in advocating for expansion projects such as Alltech, Cirrus, and AAR. We've seen major investments at our port, securing long-term commercial and industrial capabilities, as well as a major interest in the lot development at Lot D. We've focused on tackling brownfields and soils issues across the city, while also returning neglected properties to productive use, increasing our tax base. Councilor Hobbs and I created the Red Tape Task Force Reduction, that is currently active and working to identify challenges faced by citizens doing business within the city. We want to identify ways to help small businesses navigate the city's regulatory requirements and to make city regulations simple, fair, and easier to enforce. And just this month, the Northern Lights Express passenger rail project between Minneapolis and Duluth met its final environmental milestone, the only project in the country of this type to do so in the last 5 years, and Alexa is ready for final design and construction. This year, we will begin implementing a priority-based budgeting system, further stabilizing our budget. This includes what you have made very clear, that the street improvement plan is a priority. With the 76% yes vote on the 0.5% sales tax for dedicated funding to address our 450 plus miles of streets, including the reconstruction of Superior Street, supporting the continued transformation of the downtown historic arts and theater district. Furthermore, as you know, we have 430 plus miles of pipe in our water system, and the newly passed water infrastructure rate plan is expected to help us replace pipe that is reaching the end of its 100-year life cycle. The new rate plan will allow us to double pipe replacement to 4+ miles a year. All these infrastructural financial decisions make me very proud of our community and our leaders. Creating a more connected community and lifting up our newly added comprehensive plan, guiding principles of health and fairness, has been and will remain a top priority. We are taking steps toward a healthier, more inclusive community. Over the last year, Earn, Sick, and Safe Time Task Force launched a community-driven discussion, provided their recommendations, and Councillor Hobbs and I, having met with hundreds of employees and employers, recently brought forward an ordinance that reflects a strong Duluth-sized policy. Councillors are working hard toward a homeless Bill of Rights and ways to create better policy surrounding our serious housing issues impacting all levels of income. Duluth's owner-occupied and rental housing market is challenged because we have the oldest housing stock in the state. 40% of Duluth's households are renter-occupied, and the median renter's income is $21,393, while an average rent is $851, which equates to many renters paying more for what they can afford. These challenges, combined with the high cost of and lack of resources for developing new rental units, create an environment where both tenants and landlords struggle to comply with regulations and fulfill their obligations. We are determined to find a long-term funding plan for the Tenant-Landlord Connection Program, which works to ensure that both tenants and landlords are equipped to understand their rights, fulfill their responsibilities, and peacefully coexist in a manner which minimizes evictions and promotes neighborhood and family stability. This last year, we won a very competitive Night Cities Challenge grant, where the funds awarded are being used to enhance our Imagine Duluth 2035 comprehensive planning process in the Canal Park area, a center place in our community where we can do a better job of figuring out how to move people through it, making our residents feel more welcome and comfortable, like we did for Cold Front February. We will see more pop-up concepts and ideas develop from this over the summer months. It's such an honor to serve our community. We work hard toward economic growth, stabilizing our budget and infrastructure, and connecting our neighbors. We all thank you for showing up and asking us to keep striving for a stronger Duluth. Thank you. Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome the Myers-Wilkins Elementary School's World Beat Drummers. They're an after-school African-based drum circle group made up of 23 students from the 4th and 5th grade. Since its creation at Nettleton Elementary 15 years ago, World Beat has used authentic dress, percussion instruments, and rhythms to perform original, global-style compositions regionally and throughout the state. Recent performances include school functions, community fundraisers, and Mayor Emily Larson's inauguration. They are led by directors Terry Akravic and Michelle Bowker, the World Beat Drummers. Thank you very much for that performance. I'm pleased to welcome Ellie Schoenfeld, Duluth's current Poet Laureate. Ellie has worked tirelessly to share her love of poetry and talents with the community for over 2 decades. In 1992, she co-founded Poetry Harbor and organized free readings. From 2004 to 2010, she served on the board of Spirit Lake Poetry Series. She has facilitated a monthly writing group in the federal prison camp and conducted a series of writing workshops with an HIV-positive support group. Her work has been published in journals and anthologies, as well as in Bound Together Like the Grasses and The Dark Honey, New and Used Poems by Clover Valley Press. Ellie also shared her beautiful poetry with the community at Mayor Larson's 2017 State of the City address and was selected in 2016 as Duluth's Poet Laureate. Please help me welcome Ellie Schoenfeld.
I'm very honored to be here today in this beautiful space in the month of March. I recently learned that in March and April, Duluth can receive anywhere from 0 inches of snow to 70 inches of snow. So I think this poem speaks a little bit to who we are as people in this part of the world. It's called The Weather Around Here. He uses an example from a bad poem. Daffodils and daisies don't bloom at the same time. The writer is not to be believed. But you can believe me when I tell you that this year the daffodils opened on that one hot day and then stayed open through the long stretch of cool rains, stayed so long they were still here when the bleeding hearts came along. The heretofore unheard of bouquets were stunning flukes in this place where the weather is an unpredictable relative whose moods come and go based on the quirks in the relationship between Lake Superior and these hills and everything else. At least this is what the meteorologists basically say. We never see it coming, whatever it may be. One time a friend left Duluth for Los Angeles. After he moved back, he told me every morning his buddies would pick him up so they could go to work painting houses, and every morning he would grab his sweatshirt in case the weather changed, which the other guys assured him it wouldn't, and which it never did. Even after he got used to it, the constant steady sun and sustained temperature, it just felt wrong. Too easy. In LA, people take it for granted. They relax and let down their guard. But not us. Around here, we know to savor the doomed temporary romance of the daffodils and the bleeding hearts. The unlikeliness of their ships not passing but finding port on the same days in this port city. Yet we would never relax into such a thing, would never count on a future like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie, for those beautiful words. I'd now like to welcome Acting Chief Administrative Officer Jim Benning and Mayor Emily Larson to the stage to present the Clarence Maddy Award.
Good evening. At this time, I would like to present the recipient of the Clarence Maddy Award. The award is named for the longtime administrative assistant to the city of Duluth who served 5 Duluth mayors and was one of the most gracious gentlemen to ever work for the city. Joining us tonight are several members of the Maddy family, right up front here. Tonight, we present the 2018 Clarence Maddy Award to Paku Lee.
Yeah.
Because of her selfless dedication to the City of Duluth, its employees and citizens, Paku has been working as the Public Information Coordinator for the city for 9 years, in a job which encompasses a wide variety of tasks and duty and touches every department and division within the city. Her ability to anticipate what needs to be done, then take the initiative to make that sure it gets done, is one of the many qualities that make any project or task she's taking run smoother. Paku has demonstrated an extraordinary dedication to go above and beyond the call of duty in extreme and complex situations like floods, windstorms, major snow events, as well as small and large projects within the city that span several departments, whether they are planned projects or the unexpected, which happens a lot in Duluth. And it isn't only her quick response to the unforeseen events that show her true colors. Paku also exhibits a high degree of extraordinary commitment to special events planning and communications management for numerous city-sponsored events, meetings, gatherings, including press conferences, all-employee gatherings, visits from foreign monarchy, and tonight's event, which you've seen her running around like crazy up until 5 seconds ago taking pictures. These few examples, as well as keeping citizens well informed via press releases, websites, and social media updates, show how valuable Paku is to the city of Duluth. Paku is not only a well-respected community professional for the city, but she also contributes by working quite successfully in making our city culture one of great vibrancy, cohesiveness, and inclusivity. She is always there for us, and more times than not, quietly stands in the back of the room while her coworkers and members of the general public enjoy her fruits of labor. Her selflessness, dedication, and generosity are evident in her professional as well as her personal life, and can be witnessed on a regular basis by her family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, community members, or even perfect strangers. Help me welcome our 2018 Clarence Maddy Award winner, Paku Lee.
Wow, thank you. That was an amazing, amazing biography of me. I just want to thank you all, and you're going to hear me speak a little bit in English and then also a little bit in Hmong because I'm so honored to have my family here with me tonight. So, again, thank you. So earlier today, you know, I've been trying to manage like family and stuff like that. And so I did put a Facebook call out for babysitters and you all showed up. So that was amazing. Thank you for doing that. But seriously, I'm going to try to keep this brief, also because my boss is right here and I'm supposed to be working. So I want to keep it short. And I am so truly honored and grateful to receive this Clarence Maddy Award. I have read about Clarence Maddy for many years now and have always been inspired by his legacy of service. So, you know, I stand obviously on the shoulders of many great people. I also want to thank my colleagues because without you and your support and confidence in me, I don't think that my work would be as meaningful because you all are so dedicated and committed. And so I stand here today, I represent just 1/800th of the heart, talent, and dedication of the people within our organization. And so you all should feel really great because I can attest to the fact that our city is in really good hands. So, in our family, we have this saying, it's to whom much is given, much is expected. And ever since I was young, growing up, my parents always stressed to each of us that we had a responsibility to act rightly, to live with purpose, and to find ways to improve our community. So the blessings and achievements that we each have are not just ours alone, but we celebrate them with the many people who came before us and who lift us up with their guidance and wisdom. So to all of my parents, some who are here tonight, some who are not, they're in New York, to my kids, my husband, all my siblings, my sister and brother-in-law who are here tonight, I thank you for your love and your support and the grace that you've given me to walk this path. And to my parents, Ni za ki lu tàu ba bay thâu sợ đời ta ý sĩ năng thì do vị nên ta cú lu này ở chỗ đó này để họ do vị này cụ thể do cụ tu khen nữa nọ. So thank you again for this recognition, and my responsibilities are great, but my hands are nimble, albeit small, but my body is strong, and my spirit has been reinvigorated. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benning, and congratulations again to Paku. January 23rd, 2015 was the day I wrote an email to my friend Emily Larson to share my drive to run for city council. Her response was yay, with 3 exclamations. I was lucky enough to run for office at the same time she was running for mayor, which allowed us the opportunity to knock doors together. My favorite day was when we were in West Duluth and I knocked a door. A woman answered so excited and gave me this big, huge hug. That doesn't usually happen when you knock doors. She exclaimed, "I know you, you're running for mayor and I'm so excited." I had to tell her that I was not Emily Larson, but she's right there across the street and will definitely be over for a chat. Even though it wasn't me, it felt amazing. Mayor Larson has been a champion for energy conservation, tackling the opioid epidemic, finding solutions for Duluth's infrastructure, and building community collaborations. This is Mayor Larson's 3rd State of the City address. I'm excited, as I know you all are, to hear more about the mayor's priorities for the upcoming year. I'm pleased to welcome to the stage my friend, colleague and inspiration, and the mayor of Duluth, Emily Larson.
This microphone, okay, so I'm gonna just move this. Hi, everybody. So nice to see you. Thank you for being here. And Elissa, I didn't know that story. That's really funny, but I get mistaken for you too, so that's good. Just a few things before we begin the talk tonight. It is really a pleasure to be here. And thank you, Elissa, for all of your hard work as council president. It is a lot of time to be a council president. Thank you for your leadership, particularly on transportation, Imagine Canal Park, other things that you're passionate about, really making a difference in the city of Duluth. So thank you for that. Thank you to the Playhouse for having us here tonight. I mean, how awesome is this? Yes. Feels great. And I like that tonight we've had drummers on stage, we've honored Paku, we've heard her native language of Hmong. What an amazing cultural asset the NorShor is, and it's terrific. So thank you to the Myers-Wilkins drummers. I just love hearing that heartbeat. For me, it's really meaningful. Our sons went to school at Nettleton and Myers-Wilkins, so we know the drum group well. And Ellie, thank you for your gift of poetry tonight to start us off. Special thanks in our office, an event like this, poor Paku, she's working right now. Like right now, literally. And as I was hugging her, her phone was ringing and her notes were coming out. But a lot of people work hard to get this event working. Paku Lee, Phil Jens from our office, Community Relations Officer, Bronwyn Lipinski. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that this is kind of a high maintenance event. Hopefully I'm not high maintenance. So special thanks. And then also to our team. Of course, 800 people we get to work with who Paku alluded to. Really our directors team, our Chief Administrative Officer, Dave Montgomery, who isn't here tonight, but I know he's watching one of those cameras. We're streaming that one. Hi, Dave. We're streaming on WDIO, so thank you, WDIO, for that. But our other directors, Keith Hamry, Jim Benning, who you've heard from, Heather Rand, Jim Philby-Williams, Gunnar Johnson, Wayne Parson, and our super safety team of Denny Edwards and Mike Tuskin. Also our Human Relations Officer, Carl Crawford. And lastly, before I begin my comments, I want to thank the Duluth City Council for your tireless work, your deep dedication. I know the time you're putting in, it's substantial. To our other elected leaders and civic leaders who are in the room, and I think we may have some members from the Fond du Lac Band as well. And then finally, my favorite row out there, my parents. I have 4 wonderful, amazing parents, and 3 of them are here tonight. Our Gigi is in absentia, but we have Narita and Lee and Pam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You come every year to this, which is so neat. Thank you for everything you've given me, and thank you to my husband, Doug, and our sons, Gabe and Eli, who believe in me, despite how I nag you sometimes at home. Thank you for everything that you do. You are true public servants in this community. I think people often don't understand how much it is for a family and a spouse, and I love you, so thank you. So with that, it's just so exciting to be speaking here tonight at the NorShor Theater. Just a few years ago, this grand theater had fallen into complete disrepair. Despite its rich history, it had been cast aside. It would have been easy to just ignore its important historical significance and let this place go. But that didn't happen, because this community coalesced around a vision, one initiated by former Mayor Don Ness and sustained by the hard work, the grit, the determination of countless others. Working together, we saved this place. And right across the street is the Zeitgeist Arts Cafe, performance theater and movie house with great popcorn. At the time they were established, this part of town was known mostly for its strip club, its head shop, decaying buildings, abandoned storefronts, good times. But the Zeppa Foundation and director Tony Cuneo had a vision of investing foundation funds to build a business that could help revitalize a decaying neighborhood. They risked everything to reinvent themselves as a social enterprise and nonprofit arts and community development organization. Together, these projects, the NorShor Theater, Zeitgeist, have catalyzed a growing and thriving downtown cultural community and reminded us of the importance of clear-eyed, bold, innovative vision. And they were both uphill battles. But in Duluth, we're familiar with winning against long odds. 2 weeks ago, we welcomed home our Olympic gold medal curling champions. So exciting. And it felt so quintessentially Duluth. These scrappy underdogs, never giving up, believing in something when no one else believes, dismissed and underestimated. And they did what we do best. They over-delivered. And that is Duluth at its core. Measures of vision and risk, persistence, collaboration, drive, and determination. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Because together we are building a better city. And we're building on our history of bold, bright vision and innovation. 2 years ago, in my first State of the City, I promised to build a more inclusive, collaborative, fair, and transparent city. That vision hasn't changed. It remains my goal that we are a healthy, prosperous, sustainable, fair, and inclusive community for all neighbors and across all neighborhoods. We still face deep challenges and divisions from racism and poverty, education, access to economic opportunity, and these are massive, massive problems, and we can't solve them all in 1 year or 2 years. These challenges and divisions have generational impacts, and progress is measured slowly but steadily. A recent sold-out NAACP Freedom Fund dinner gave me hope. 300 people from across the community working together to build a future of promise and opportunity. The Indigenous First Shop at ACO, the American Indian Community Housing Organization, gives me hope. A downtown store focused exclusively on selling the work of Native and Indigenous artists. They get a lot of business, but they could always use more. Our ongoing and our growing relationship with the Fond du Lac Band. This gives me hope. Last year, I laid down a challenge that our task is not to fix the entire world all at once, but to mend that part which is within our reach. And together, all of us here, our reach is incredibly wide, and the mending has begun. 1 year ago, we named opioid addiction a crisis. And with our partners in St. Louis County in the Opioid Abuse Response Strategies Work Group, we are applying innovative interventions like the Opioid Withdrawal Center, which can help break the cycle and provide safe medical supervision for withdrawal and a road to recovery. Last week, we announced a major bust of 40 drug dealers peddling heroin and fentanyl and other drugs across our entire region. A truly incredible statewide noticed effort led by the investigative work of our Lake Superior Drug and Violent Crimes Task Force. Our community's honesty about this crisis and our courage to address it have been noticed by state policymakers, by the National League of Cities, the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Last year, we named affordable housing for Duluth residents earning less than $50,000 a year a priority. We adopted a housing framework. We targeted 2 special investment areas to focus our resources and are working with local partners to develop projects. Last year, I was named to the Governor's Task Force on Housing, where I can advocate for Duluth's housing needs. And in October, we announced $17 million to Duluth for the creation and rehabilitation of affordable rental housing and home ownership. So in the past 2 years, close to 700 new units of housing have come online in Duluth, and we have another 184 pending. But still, affordable housing continues to be a challenge as we face dwindling state and federal housing resources. We have significant work to do in this area to make sure we're integrating affordability into as many housing projects as we possibly can. And last year, we named climate change as a reality. And we laid out a bold goal of reducing our greenhouse gas emissions 80% by 2050. Last year, we decreased emissions 15% through changes in our steam plant. We are on pace to meet our goals even earlier than we anticipated. We've invested in Minnesota Power's solar garden. We're making energy efficiency upgrades in our parks, throughout our lighting, and through our building operations. We've added energy as a specific area of focus to our comprehensive plan. And in this area, we are just getting started because although our United States government has withdrawn from the Paris Accord, Duluth has not. We have embraced the motto, decisions made about us, without us, will fail us. Our comprehensive plan, Imagine Duluth 2035, lays out our collective vision and priorities for this city. We said it would be inclusive and collaborative. We asked for your help, and you responded with a resounding yes. We held over 100 meetings with community members, received thousands of comments, 4,000 surveys. Countless hours by our staff and by you, our community members, have brought us to a draft plan which we will finalize later this year. And we have made funding streets a top priority. After years of struggling to find funding to fix our streets, we put a dedicated 0.5% sales tax before voters last fall. And once again, we put it to our voters and they said yes, winning every precinct in the city, 77% of the vote. Your message was very clear and I have taken it to St. Paul. Our next step is working with our amazing Duluth delegation, our business community, and others to get this dedicated funding approved through the legislature and put it to work for the people of Duluth. And it's critically important that as we're putting public dollars to work, to be working to ensure that those dollars help support local jobs. So in the coming weeks, I'll be introducing new business subsidy criteria to create a clearer set of standards, a more transparent and predictable process for our city's economic development investments. As mayor, I promised you that I would use every tool at my disposal to grow good local jobs. As part of the criteria, we've clarified our project labor agreement standards, which protect our city investments and incentivize good local job creation. We can do good with our investments while doing well by our people. The optimism we experience today in Duluth is built upon the bright ideas and bold thinking that is the history of who we are. And naturally, I have a few examples. In the 1880s, that was the 1880s, skyscrapers were taking hold in cities across America. One of the biggest safety threats at that time was actually elevators, which you had to manually close the elevator door. And one passenger forgetting to close the door could result in others falling down the elevator shaft at the next floor. But Alexander Miles, an African-American inventor living in Duluth, solved the problem in 1887 with his invention of the electric automatic elevator door. And just imagine this. This is 7 decades before the Voting Rights Act would protect his right to vote. Just 20 years after emancipation. Here was a true visionary, a true leader, a trailblazer, and an inventor. Also, the first African-American member of the Duluth Chamber of Commerce. That is bold and brave thinking. And more recently, Duluth has led the state and nation in other areas. In the 1980s, Duluth pioneered a new response to domestic violence, which is now the most practiced model of intervention in the country. Duluth led the state and the nation in banning mercury and eliminating the hazards of secondhand smoke for workers by prohibiting smoking in bars and restaurants. Duluth was the smallest and the first city to apply living wage requirements to business subsidies to ensure that all jobs created with public tax money are good-paying jobs. And in addition, Duluth businesses have paved the way with new ideas, new products, new approaches. Cirrus produces the first civilian single-engine jet to achieve certification with the FAA, a company which has propelled Duluth into who we are now, a truly innovative aviation sector employing thousands of people. At Cirrus, at AAR, NorShor Aerospace, Duluth International Airport, Monaco Air, and more. Minnesota Power is a leader nationally in energy efficiency programs in building out renewable energy. And together, we are working to democratize energy efficiency in ways that is getting noticed around the country. Lull Manufacturing makes those beautiful, durable outdoor furniture sets, and they make it out of recycled materials. Each one of those Adirondack chairs is made out of 400 recycled milk jugs. Just another example of Duluth doing well by doing good. These companies are just a few whose innovations are leading Duluth into the future. And many of these firsts I've listed were initially seen as too risky or out there at the time. But now those strategies and values are considered just the normal part of how we do business. Duluth leads. We dare to take the first step, and often we find that others follow. Being a mother is like getting a daily dose of honesty. Every day, my kids, our kids, do something that grounds me and calls me back to what's important. I came across a scrap of paper recently describing rules for a game called Rescue Helicopter, developed by our son Gabe when he was 5 years old. You know how sweet kids really are? We live in the hillside, and we'd watch these hospital helicopters fly over our house, and there Gabe would stand, eyes up, pointing, saying, "Look, someone's getting help." So his rules for reenacting Rescue Helicopter were simple, but got right to the heart of the issue. Rule number 1, Papa, Mama, and Eli have white hats. Rule number 2, Gabe has an orange hat and swings on a rope. He liked orange and swinging at the time. And rule number 3, everyone rescues everyone. Around that same time, at the age of 3, our other son Eli had a Band-Aid collection. Pretty much what you would expect. We would give him boxes of Band-Aids for gifts. He'd put them all in a special drawer in his room. And then, whenever anyone would get injured, Eli would rush to his collection to retrieve just the right Band-Aid for the job and work to heal the person's hurt. "I can help," he would say. I love those two incredibly simple statements. Everyone rescues everyone. I can help. So simple, and yet so profoundly challenging. For at the heart of both of them is a deep value of taking action and taking care of one another. Kids always say it like it is. They distill truth to its very essence. They intuitively know how we're supposed to treat one another as a family, as a community, and as a city. The rest of my speech is about looking ahead and moving forward. As a city, we are going to embrace our bold spirit of innovation, and we're going to do that while also focusing on what matters most, taking care of each other. Duluth really is that underdog city. We are often underestimated, and we do really love to overdeliver. We rescue, and we help. As a favorite African proverb says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We can grow our economy, rebuild our infrastructure, support a thriving business culture, and take care of each other. It is possible. And I've got a few ideas. My first area of focus tonight is on workforce development. My second area of focus will be on our spirit of innovation. This candle that burns here, thank you, Paku, for lighting it, by the way. This candle that burns here is produced by Limitless Candles, a youth-founded social enterprise business, which is part of the Legitimate Hustle program at Lifehouse. This youth-led business is a key component of Opportunity Youth, an exciting and successful collaboration led by SOAR Career Solutions in partnership with Lifehouse and Woodland Hills, Duluth Workforce Development, Lake Superior College, Duluth Public Schools, and Duluth Adult Basic Ed. Opportunity Youth range in age from 16 to 24 and are not working or engaged in school. They experience significant challenges such as poverty, homelessness, mental illness, chemical dependency, involvement in foster care, or the criminal justice system. Lifehouse staff guide and mentor each legitimate hustle cohort to start and operate their own social enterprise business. Building a business gives these young entrepreneurs an opportunity to safely earn money while learning employment and business skills. And one recent young worker had relied on supportive services for most of his young life. He was connected through this collaboration to free carpentry training at the Carpenters Union. The participant went through work readiness and carpentry training, graduated, and is now a union apprentice making over $33,000 a year while learning skills of a trade. He is on a path to a good job and a much more promising future. And the promise of his future is the promise of ours. Opportunity Youth is one of many exciting workforce collaborations underway. The Carpenters Preparatory Apprenticeship Training Program, which I just mentioned, has already resulted in 2/3 of participants finding jobs and half in a registered apprenticeship program. This program is going to be expanded this year with specific outreach to women and to connect them into the trades. We have another partnership that we're launching with Essentia, Lake Superior College, and Community Action Duluth to create career pathways in healthcare. There is more we can do as a city to lead and partner to meet the growing demands of our workforce. Over the next 3 years, we're going to be engaged in rebuilding Superior Street. And while it will be slightly inconvenient, we're prepared, and it's going to be amazing and worth it. And when, not if, but when that sales tax passes the legislature, we will be rebuilding streets all across the city for the next 25 years, thinking innovatively. This is not just about patching pavement, although we do need to patch pavement. I see this as a jobs and workforce development opportunity as well. Over the next few years, rebuilding our streets will require hundreds of new workers. Some portion of these jobs need to reach hard to employ and underrepresented potential workers, workers like those who made this candle. In collaboration with the Workforce Center, we will be reaching out to work with community partners, the building trades, SOAR, Community Action Duluth, Northland Construction, who will be working on Superior Street and is an awesome partner, and we'll work with others to ensure that our streets program is also a jobs program. There are some barriers that we will need to overcome as a city to make that happen, because currently our bidding process doesn't give us the flexibility we need to achieve additional community goals. This year, we're going to work to incorporate workforce development and community benefit language in our bids for public projects. These community benefits might include preference for locally owned businesses, for hiring low-income, unemployed, or hard-to-employ residents, or other benefits, such as affordable housing construction, renewable energy, or locating jobs and projects in economically disadvantaged neighborhoods. Because as a city, public dollars are one of the most important tools we have to ensure the public good. Most importantly, however, moving forward, we are going to look at how we integrate workforce development into every single thing that we are doing. 3 weeks ago, we said goodbye to Paula Reed, and we thanked her for her years of service as Duluth's Manager of Workforce Development, and we were really sorry to see her go. Under her leadership, the Duluth Workforce Board's emphasis has evolved, and they are getting incredible results. We're about to start searching for a replacement, and as we do so, we're making a big change. I'll be elevating the position of workforce manager to the level of director in the city of Duluth. This is going to allow our economic development team to provide their full attention to the packed portfolio of development projects in our pipeline, including the potential for an enormously exciting set of projects within our medical district. Our economic development team also gets a colleague whose sole focus will be on pairing each and every development opportunity with a workforce element. The city gets a key team member in the room for every single discussion we have cross-departmentally. A streets program, that's a jobs program. Seasonal hiring for parks, jobs program. An emerging need with a community employer, you got it, jobs program. We'll have the full focus and staffing expertise to help our business community and our job seekers. This elevated position will be tasked with forging community partnerships and driving the integration of workforce development throughout the city, from K through 12 to our incredible higher ed institutions. In a state that is struggling to meet our workforce needs, Duluth will once again lead. My second area of focus tonight will prioritize and build on Duluth's spirit of innovation. Our draft comprehensive plan identifies 12 core investment areas where the city will direct special focus and resources to strengthen neighborhood hubs across the city. Next year, we will build on last year's housing framework and our new comprehensive plan to propose innovation zones, relatively small, targeted areas in specific neighborhoods where we can take ideas out for a test drive. We need to try new things and learn as we go and adjust. You're always emailing me with your great ideas. If something works, we can expand it across the city. And if not, we'll adjust course or stop altogether. Tech and startup businesses rely on this approach routinely, and cities can do the same. Our first innovation zone will be Lincoln Park. Thank you, Lincoln Park. Stretching from Garfield Avenue to the Ore Docks, Lincoln Park's namesake is Duluth's oldest park, a gem that defines our long commitment to parks and preserving green space. Lincoln Park has 3 waterfronts, Miller Creek and the other creeks that wind their way down the hill, the St. Louis River, and Lake Superior. It's home to Duluth's working waterfront, an engine driving our local economy and defines Duluth as a vibrant international port. Lincoln Park also faces many of the greatest disparities in our community in health, in poverty, in racism, in housing. Lincoln Park's vitality is the barometer of vitality for our city. It's one of the reasons it's been such an important neighborhood of focus for me. Over the last 2 years, we've helped build out the Craft District, invested in improvements to the neighborhood's iconic park, secured bus lines up to the school, and identified a housing framework. And of course, we haven't done this alone. Thanks to the partnerships with Duluth Local Initiative Support Corporation, with Equilibrium 3, with the Lincoln Park Business Group, with the DTA, and many others, amazing things are underway. And now the city will have a very specific team to target innovations in Lincoln Park. Equilibrium 3 will act as the local anchor organization working together with others, and they will help pull together residents and community partners to generate ideas, and will work with the city's Lincoln Park Innovation Team to define the boundaries and scope of each project. So, what's the first idea we'll start with? I've got it. Potholes. Because tonight we are launching a new innovative partnership with the Natural Resources Research Institute, or NRRI. For 35 years, this local gem has been delivering its unique multidisciplinary approach of practical solutions where economic growth meets environmental protection. Created in 1983 in the wake of declining mining and forestry industries, NRRI was the realization of Judge Gerald Haney's vision, along with Representative Jim Oberstar, Governor Rudy Perpich, and the University of Minnesota. NRRI's mission is using applied research to deliver science-based solutions that meet economic needs, protect the environment, and create resilient communities. Duluth's history is one of bold and visionary innovation, and NRRI's mission is to deliver innovative, real-world solutions. We want to try some new approaches, and NRRI needs a place to demonstrate new solutions. So you see where I'm going with this. Kind of feels like tourism and the lift bridge, like a perfect combination. An NRRI City of Duluth collaboration taps into our spirit of innovation and our reputation as a leader. And I know you know that Duluth has plenty of potholes. But NRRI has a promising way to fix them. NRRI has been trying out a new way of using taconite byproducts to create better, harder, hopefully more durable pothole patches. And it looks like this. Hang on. I have a sample. In an experimental material that uses byproduct from our taconite mining process, which absorbs the water that often erodes the pothole materials we currently use. This is ready for prime time. And we've got some prime potholes. We're ready to innovate. So just imagine Duluth and the Iron Range working together, collaborating, innovating, employing, repairing strained relationships while repairing our roads. It's so corny, it just might work. I've got two more ways we'll be innovating as a city. The first is about power source. The second is about people power. Last year, we started what I intend to be a long-term and permanent commitment away from coal. At our steam plant, we dropped coal usage dramatically, going from 12 months per year of operation to just 3, running 3 boilers instead of 4, decreasing greenhouse gases 15% in 1 year alone. The one downside, it increased our use of natural gas, a non-renewable energy source. We can do more, and this year we will. Tonight I'm announcing our plan to purchase renewable fuel oil made from forested wood residuals that will decrease our current coal and natural gas usage by 50%. Further reducing our carbon profile, significantly increasing our reliance on renewables, all while delivering cost savings to our customers. So see, we have innovative and creative solutions. We can meet the needs of our community while being out front in areas that really matter. And we don't have to look at outside experts to always tell us what to do. Often, the answers come from within. At the City of Duluth, we have hundreds of amazing employees with years of experience, a deep understanding of Duluth, and a very deep commitment to serve. We need to tap into this incredible in-house resource of ideas and innovations, and we can draw on our history for ways to do that. In 1905, right around the time of this theater, actually, a small company moved to Duluth from Two Harbors after they failed to find the minerals needed to make grinding wheels. After their initial failed venture, the company reimagined itself, and they succeeded. They eventually left Duluth to become 3M. The same company launched another innovation in 1948, which allowed employees to use part of their paid time to follow up on things they were excited about and had discovered in the course of their work, but which they didn't have the time to pursue within their traditional projects. In 1968, Art Fry and a colleague at 3M used this time to develop Post-it notes from an otherwise failed adhesive. There are countless other innovations that came from 3M employees being given encouragement to develop their ideas. And many of the most innovative companies have since adopted similar concepts. Apple has Blue Sky, Microsoft has Garage, and Google just has Fridays. I am proposing that we celebrate this entrepreneurial spirit of innovation within our own city workforce. And I'm hoping it's an idea that will gain hold with other companies as well. Over the next year, we will pull together our directors and our managers and employees to figure out how to best make this happen. And early next year, we're going to hold our first ever Duluth Ideas Fair, kind of like a geeky science fair, with posters and tables and video, whatever people need, where employees can present and discuss their ideas with me, with other employees, with department heads, and interested people from around the community. We're going to pick the best ideas, and we're going to try them out, maybe in an innovation zone near you. Earlier, I talked about my sons and their intuitive response to reach out, to pitch in and help others. Sometimes the daily noise of our loud world can drown out simple truths. But here, to me, is the best part of those stories. This kind of intuitive truth or faith in humanity isn't only available to kids. It's something we all know right here. We just have to let it out. We are at an important time right now. Duluth is on the move, and we're being noticed. We have the opportunity and the responsibility to shape our future. That future must build on what makes Duluth unique and strong. The beauty around us, our history of innovation, and our people, because cities exist for people. People who work and live and play, people who own businesses or punch a clock. People who volunteer, who shovel their neighbor's sidewalk, or bring hot dishes in times of trouble. Of all the diverse and amazing people I've met in this job, I have yet to find someone who doesn't care. We have challenges as a community, but we also have each other. We have the determination, the compassion, and the vision to move us forward right here, right now in this room. We are the dreamers and the workers, the poets and the drummers, the entrepreneurs and the risk takers, the leaders and the innovators. It is you and it is me and it is us. We have got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get to work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.